good morning from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Sunny Vegas.
We've been to Vegas a lot, and
even before we RV'd, we
yes,
always came here.
We did. We always did?
Well, it was one of our...
We came here a lot.
Yeah, top places to go.
Most people think that Las Vegas was founded by the mob. You know, that's when it started. But did you know that's not true? That's just when Las Vegas became famous. But today we're going to visit this place that we had no idea was here in Vegas, and it dates back way to the very beginning of when Las Vegas was first founded.
Let's go check it out.
All right, sounds good. That sounds like a plan. How about a high five? Yeah.
That's dorky.
Follow the road into the sky. Never let adventures pass you by. Be free and follow your crazy dreams. We're living our vision in the RV. Come ride with us and you'll be free. I heard you say you found the story all tucked away in the back of the room. Been lost for years, far away from the glory.
We made it to Old Las Vegas Mormon Fort State Historic Park.
That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. And that traffic makes you want to... Found a nice shaded spot here. We got to hang over. We normally don't hang over sidewalks, but since this is the last spot here, there shouldn't be anybody walking through there. So
Yeah, we might be getting up, or we might be under a very messy tree.
all right, well, this is it. Tucked in the heart of downtown Las Vegas sits a place most people drive past without ever knowing its importance. The old Las Vegas Mormon Fort. This is where the story of Las Vegas really began. Long before the neon lights, before the casinos, concerts, celebrity residencies, and the roaring crowds on the Strip, there was a patch of desert land, quiet, remote, and soaked in sun, where something much different began. In the mid-1800s, long before the Strip was even imagined, the Las Vegas Valley was a desert oasis. It earned its name from Spanish explorers, Las Vegas meaning the meadows, because of the natural springs that bubbled up from the desert floor.
A short distance to the west of here, water bubbled up from 3 springs and came together to form the Las Vegas Creek. This creek breathed life into the bordering areas and served as the primary source of water in the Las Vegas Valley. Mesquite, cottonwood, and willow trees all flourished along this thin ribbon of greenery. Lush strains of cattails and abundant grasses stood in stark contrast to the dry surrounding desert. This small oasis provided the foundation for everything to come. Without water, humans never would have been able to survive in the unforgiving environment of the Las Vegas Valley.
So you have to just kind of imagine like this was the Las Vegas Creek when it all first started. I think that's what they're trying to portray here.
For centuries, this water gave life to native tribes, especially the southern Paiutes, who farmed and traveled through this land.
It would change dramatically, though, with the arrival of Euro-American people to this area. In the winter of 1829 through 1830, Mexican trader Antonio Armijo gathered a caravan of 60 men and 100 pack mules near Santa Fe, New Mexico, and blazed a trail to Los Angeles. His trek opened a direct trade route between the 2 outposts on the Mexican frontier and was the first known non-native visit to the Las Vegas Valley. Yearly caravans would soon follow, and this route became known as the Old Spanish Trail. Las Vegas was an essential resting point for travelers along this path. Animals and humans alike found relief from hard desert travel in the meadows along the Las Vegas Creek.
Then, in 1855, 30 Mormon missionaries were sent by Brigham Young to settle the area. Their mission was clear: farm the land, convert local tribes to their faith, and create a stopping point for travelers between Salt Lake City and Southern California, a safe haven along the rugged old Spanish Trail. They arrived in June after a grueling 30-day journey through desert. The final stretch? 55 miles of brutal desert with no water in sight. But then they found it, a spring, an oasis in the sand. And in just weeks, they began construction of a fort, built from adobe and surrounded by thick walls. They dug irrigation ditches, planted crops, and raised livestock. This was the first permanent non-native settlement in the Las Vegas Valley. Life at the fort wasn't easy. The summer heat was brutal. Crops failed. There were leadership struggles, tensions with the Paiutes, and even a failed attempt to mine lead nearby. Within 3 years, the mission dissolved. The settlers returned to Utah, and the fort was left to the desert winds. Well, that's pretty cool. The first flag flown over Las Vegas, July 4th of 1855.
These bricks made of clay, sand, and water are part of the original fort wall. Please do not touch. Elements from your skin can deteriorate these historic earthen bricks. This is the oldest standing building in the entire state of Nevada. And holy cow, that is creepy and scared the crap out of me.
But the seeds of a city had been planted. In 1865, a miner named Octavius Gass moved in, turning the old mission into a ranch. Then Archibald Stewart took over, and after his death, it was his wife, Helen Stewart, who would leave a legacy: a widow, a rancher, a mother. She expanded the land, bought more property, and made bold moves that shaped the valley. In 1902, she sold the land and water rights to a railroad company. That sale sparked the beginning of the Las Vegas we know today. In 1905, this dusty stretch of desert hosted an auction that created a brand new town. Streets were laid, people came, and the fort, it became a memory, a myth, and a foundation. Over the next century, the fort served many roles: a ranch, a testing ground for Hoover Dam cement, even a resort with a pool fed by the old creek. Today, the old Las Vegas Mormon Fort State Historic Park preserves what's left of that beginning. A section of the original wall still stands. The adobe brick that you see here is part of the only original remaining wall of the old fort. There's a reconstructed fort, a visitor center, and exhibits that tell the real story of this land. Not about jackpots, not about Elvis or showgirls, but about settlers, survival, and the power of water in the desert. interesting. We would highly recommend watching the video inside and learning about the entire history. This isn't just where Las Vegas started. This is how it survived long enough to become a legend. And as you stand here today, in the shadows of these old adobe walls, it's hard to imagine that this quiet place once marked the center of so much hope, hardship, and history. The Las Vegas that rose from this patch of desert would go on to reinvent itself time and again. From a dusty railroad town, to a playground for the rich and famous, to one of the world's most iconic cities. But beneath the glitter, the roots remain. The water that once drew native tribes still flows beneath this valley. The grit and determination of those first settlers, Mormon pioneers, ranchers, railroad builders, and families echoes through the streets of this modern city. And here at the old Mormon fort, it all began. Not with a roll of the dice, but with a simple human drive to create something lasting in the unlikeliest places. So the next time you visit Las Vegas, remember, this is where Las Vegas found its first purpose, and where its spirit of reinvention still draws the world today. So the admission here is only $3 a piece.
Well worth it. I mean, it's pretty intuitive and interesting and
Pretty trees here. This is called the desert willow with these beautiful flowers.
yeah, gorgeous.
Now it's time for us to enjoy the rest of our day on the Vegas Strip. But for little Billy, this is his first taste of Vegas traffic. And let's just say, he's not quite ready to hoof it through this chaos.
Sometimes we need to stop to see what we have assessed. I'm grateful about everything because we have been working hard right from the very start. How we get this far, but now it's time for us to stay out until it's late. We've come a long way, so we deserve it, mate. Call it a day and celebrate. Let's celebrate. Call it a day. Let's celebrate. Call it a day and celebrate. Let's celebrate. Call it a day.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click that little bell, and hit that thumbs up. See you next week.